Cultures of Mourning. Prepared and presented by Tony Johnson. Chapter 2. Marriage and Wedding Customs. While marriage is celebrated with similar objectives worldwide, wedding customs and rituals vary greatly. In this chapter, we will take a look at various marriage and wedding customs in Africa, Asia, Europe, America, and Oceania. Marriage customs and rituals in the African continent reflect the rich and diverse cultures. In Ghana, traditional weddings involve the families of the bride and groom coming together for a betrothal ceremony. During this ceremony, the groom presents gifts and jewelry brought by the groom's procession to the bride's family. Also, the bride and groom dress in outfits made of traditional kente cloth, representing their cultural roots. In South Africa, among the Zulu people, the bride and groom wear traditional colorful outfits at weddings, and there is an exchange of gifts between families. During wedding ceremonies, the families of the groom and bride come together to celebrate with dance and songs. These rituals symbolize the joining of the two families and the establishment of new family ties. In Nigeria, the Igbo people evaluate the groom candidate in a ceremony called Ime Ego, organized by the bride's family before the wedding ceremonies. The groom candidate presents various gifts and money to the bride's family. If accepted, the wedding ceremony is planned, and the two families celebrate enthusiastically, wearing colorful outfits. In Ethiopia, the Amhara people wear traditional white cotton outfits and crowns decorated with colorful flowers on their heads during wedding ceremonies. After the wedding ceremony, the families and guests hold a grand feast where traditional foods and drinks are shared. Marriage and wedding customs in Asia are also diverse. In India, wedding ceremonies usually last 3 to 5 days and include various rituals and celebrations. For example, during the Mehendi ceremony, henna is applied to the bride's hands and feet in intricate patterns. In China, the groom goes to the bride's house to pick her up for the wedding, and then the couple returns to the groom's house for the wedding ceremony. In traditional weddings, the bride and groom are adorned with red clothes and gold jewelry. In Italy, the groom steals the bride from her home and then takes her to the church. Meanwhile, the bride's friends and relatives block their way, demanding gifts or money. At Italian weddings, traditionally, the bride and groom break a glass cup, acting on the belief that the broken pieces symbolize the years of their marriage. In Russia, the groom goes to the bride's house to pick her up and is subjected to obstacles by the bride's family. These obstacles aim to strengthen the relationship between the groom and bride and prepare them for married life. In traditional Russian weddings, the couple symbolically steps into married life, sharing the hardships and prosperity by offering each other bread and salt 3 times. In Spain, wedding ceremonies usually take place in a church followed by a large feast. Traditionally, the bride and groom cut the wedding cake together and then feed each other. This represents their commitment and love for each other in their marriage. In England, it is traditional for the bride to follow the belief of something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue at weddings. This practice is believed to help the bride achieve happiness and success in the future. In Turkey, the bride and groom traditionally organize a celebration called henna night at weddings. During this night, henna is applied to the bride's hands, and the groom steals the bride's shoe, demanding money from the bride's friends and relatives. In Mexico, the bride and groom usually marry in a Catholic church, and after the ceremony, a large wedding feast is held. During this feast, a traditional dance called La Vibora del Mar is performed, where couples form a bridge by crossing their hands, and the other guests pass under this bridge. In the United States, wedding customs and rituals are quite diverse and generally depend on the couple's cultural and religious background. In a traditional American wedding, the bride and groom read their wedding vows to each other, and then a wedding cake is cut. In Australia, traditional weddings are typically held outdoors, and couples celebrate in a manner fitting their personal style and cultural background. Among the Aboriginal people of Australia, wedding ceremonies are adorned with totems and symbols representing nature, and marriage is seen as an important step in strengthening family and community ties. In New Zealand, the Maori people arrange a welcoming ceremony called pōwhiri at weddings. During this ceremony, the families of the bride and groom present gifts to each other and then greet each other by touching noses. At Maori weddings, couples wear traditional Maori attire, and Maori dances and songs are performed during the wedding ceremony. In Fiji, the bride and groom wear traditional Fijian outfits at weddings, and local cultural dances and music are featured during the wedding ceremony. Fijian weddings usually take place on the beach or village square, and a grand feast is held after the wedding ceremony. In Samoa, the bride and groom wear traditional Samoan outfits at weddings, and Samoan dances and songs are performed during the wedding ceremony. After the wedding ceremony, the groom's family presents food and gifts to the bride's family, showing their respect and wishing the newly married couple a happy future. Worldwide, marriage and wedding customs showcase cultural richness and diversity. Similarities and differences across cultures reflect the ways in which people come together and strengthen their bonds. These diverse customs and rituals demonstrate the significance of the institution of marriage and its place in human life. These examples show how valuable wedding customs are to individuals and communities and how they reinforce cultural ties.